Scott, Allen, it's February 1st. 1 year ago today, one of the worst sports days in North Texas history. It's the 1 anniversary of Luca being dealt.
Oh, my gosh. You just ruined the whole thing. Dang. You ruined the whole thing, Derek, just like that. What are you doing?
Well, here's what we're doing.
But Giannis is coming.
Giannis is,
no,
stop it.
Okay.
Stop it. Nico's not here. We're not doing anything like that.
Cooper Flag is getting 40 burgers out there.
He is getting 40 burgers. But we're not here to talk about Luca. I wanted to bring you down and then bring you up because we're going to talk about Nolan Ryan's 6th no-hitter, a legend, an idol of all of ours. And here's the thing, guys. There's no better intro than what I'm about to play you for Nolan Ryan and what he meant to Texas. Are you ready?
Yep.
This is an exciting way to begin a newscast. Maybe we should say good evening. I'm Randall Carlisle.
I'm Jane McGarry, and as we were just talking a few moments ago, as anybody who lives in this area, watches the Rangers knows, Nolan Ryan is not only an extraordinary athlete, he's a great person. He's fun to watch because of the kind of person he is.
He loves Texas, and he loves throwing strikes.
He loves Texas. He loves throwing strikes. Scott, it's the mixtape.
Let's
Episode
do it.
3.
Let's
roll. So, episode 3, Scott, we're 4 away. If we complete this episode, we're 4 away from the magical number 7. We have our dear friend Alan Green on the couch across from us. Alan, did you know that the magical number for podcasts is 7?
I feel like I've heard that before, but you are going to get it.
If you can make 7, chances are you can stick.
You can do it.
It's I think it's like being married, right? 7 months you can make it.
That's
or
what we
7
mentioned
weeks?
last time. It's something like, those that podcast together for 7 episodes.
And this is episode 3?
This is episode 3. If you don't count the teaser.
Also,
maybe we should count that.
We had our 100th download today.
Okay.
So thanks to everybody. I don't think we can call ourselves the Mixtape Nation yet.
No.
Or the fans of the podcast.
Not yet.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Have you ever looked on the podcast platform thing that we're using to see where the listeners are?
Oh, no. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, somewhere over on the left. Yeah. There's like 2 overseas.
Baseball
I can't even
fans.
remember where they are.
We're worldwide, Scott.
Yeah. Always makes me wonder, though.
But you know what else is worldwide? The world's love of Nolan Ryan.
That's right.
On June 11th, 1990, Nolan Ryan headed to the mound to face the Oakland Athletics, the dominant, just vaunted Oakland Athletics, coming off a championship in '89. They had Ricky Henderson, they had Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco.
Early June, they're already 20 games over 500 on this day right here.
Absolutely, they have not skipped a beat from coming off the championship. They're right back where they're at. They're absolutely the favorites, the World Series favorites going in. And we got a little AL West late baseball, which growing up was awesome because it started at like 9:05, 9:30, somewhere in there, and you just tried to see how long you could stay up. And it's at Oakland Coliseum, which I always admired from afar, mainly because the Raiders would play there. So half the year they played on a football field of dirt.
Yes.
Which was awesome. And then they've got the foul territories, which were like 30 yards in each direction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Came into play in this game.
So I have a lot of affection, like I said, for Oakland Coliseum. Alan has a lot of affection for Oakland Coliseum. You got to meet Yu Darvish there.
That's right. Yeah.
And then one of the greatest closers of all time, Joe Nathan, wanted to sign your baseball, and you were like, "No, I'm good, Joe Nathan."
Yeah, no, not very far probably from where Ruben clinched it. 25 years later, I'm thinking he's not Joe Nathan, and he kept looking at me like, "Do you want me to sign this ball?" And I didn't want to make eye contact with him because I didn't want him to feel
just looking at your child, just shaking your head like, "No, put it down."
Not that guy.
Put it down.
Yeah, it worked out though for OU coming over and signing.
So you didn't recognize Joe Nathan?
I did not.
You just thought this is
I thought he was
another
Mark Lowe.
spare. Oh, Mark Lowe.
Yes.
Not good enough. Mark Lowe would not have been good enough for a ball.
We only had a couple of balls there. We're going for the big fish.
Can this be the last time we talk about Mark Lowe on this podcast?
It probably will be. It probably will be.
No offense, Mark Lowe, if you ever hear
Sorry,
this.
Mark Lowe. If you're in France listening, I apologize. So much like we were excited Yu Darvish signed with the Rangers in 2012, Nolan, Scott, you lived down close. You were in Astroland.
Yeah. Closer to
Nolan
Houston than DFW.
was a pillar of the Houston community.
Yes.
They had a little bit of a contract dispute, though, after the 88 season. And the Rangers took advantage. I believe Tom Grieve, the GM, took advantage of the situation, signed Nolan Ryan. And in 1989, he went 16-10, led the league with 301 strikeouts. Also posted career strikeout 5,000 against the same Oakland Athletics, Ricky Henderson, August 22nd. As Henderson said after the game, if he ain't struck you out, then you ain't nobody. And that was Nolan Ryan. He struck out everybody.
Ken Phelps had to get on that list in this game because he got struck out for the first time. No, I won't.
Don't spoil.
But
We're going to get there.
Two things I want to mention there real quick is, for that contract dispute in 88 and knowing that he had that on the horizon, like he was more than likely going to get that during the next season, barring any injury or anything like that. How could Houston not just pony up the money? Because that moment alone, to live for history in an Astros uniform, a 5,000th strikeout or whatever. Now, again, the no-hitters are unpredictable, but he's also not far from 300 wins at that point, which he also could have done, So once more, the Astros, just the true folly of Major League Baseball.
Well, we all hate the Astros in Ranger country, but I wanted to point this out because in 87, Nolan led the major leagues in ERA with a 2.76 ERA, 270 strikeouts at the age of 40, finished the season 8-16 because the Astros scored 27 runs in those 16 losses, an average of 1.69 runs per game.
This was 87, so a year after the Astros had basically been in the NLCS and taken the Mets basically right to the brink,
Yes.
And Nolan, of course, on that team was a big player. He was kind of a little overshadowed in those late years by Mike Scott, who was so ridiculous.
Well, the Game 5, it was Game 5 NLCS in 86.
Yeah.
That was Gooden and Nolan, and they, haymakers.
Yes.
And I think that thing went 12. They lost in the 12th?
Yes, yeah.
The Astros did?
Scott, do you remember where you were when you found out that Nolan was no longer going to be an Astro? I know you're not really an Astros fan during that time, but was that a moment where you're like, okay?
No, I don't remember where I was. I definitely can remember it that he was going to Texas. Mm-hmm. And, what's interesting at that point is I was very much a National League kid. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so followed the Mets really closely, followed the Reds really closely, and then everything. And then, of course, we all had WGN growing up, so you were following the Cubs whether you wanted to or not. We also had TBS with the Braves. So it was all National League. And I do kind of just remember thinking, he's going over to the American League. How are we going to watch him now?
Right.
And
y'all didn't get HSC with Norm Hitchkiss in Houston?
They would still put the Rangers on Fox Sports Southwest back then, or whatever it was before that. Maybe I can't remember.
It was HSC.
Was it?
Yeah.
So we would see
Home
those
Sports
games,
Channel.
but it still was just it's weird to think that, but at that point it was I just followed the National League so closely and viewed it very much as almost two separate entities until the grand finale kind of, but
which it was so much during that time.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So Nolan leaves, plays for the Rangers in 89, and he was spectacular. He was appointment viewing. 16-10 for the Rangers in 89, led the league with 301 strikeouts. He's 42, 301 strikeouts. Post the 5,000th strikeout. Then in the next year, his age 43 year, he starts the year off on fire, absolute fire. He does not miss a beat. he posts a very, very nice ERA under 2.5 for the first 4 starts of the season, which is April. 2.25 ERA, 28 innings, 33 strikeouts. He goes 4-0 for the Rangers. Rangers started off hot. I think that was maybe the year that the Rangers were on the cover of Sports Illustrated, because they were like the hottest team in baseball in April. Fact check
Of
that.
90 you're talking about?
There's
this year.
I think Scott Fletcher maybe was on the
Really?
cover.
Okay.
But that was maybe
Scott
89.
Fletcher.
Anyway, but here's what happens after that hot start. He hurts his back, because men in their 40s hurt their backs, guys. He starts having back spasms, and it's tied to his leg kick, to his high leg kick. He starts to have back spasms, and his start, he tries to fight through those back spasms the best he can, and he gets absolutely rocked the next 4 starts in May. His ERA goes from 2.25 in April. He has a 10.47 ERA in May. 16 innings pitched. He gives up 19 runs, 3 homers. He walks 13. 21 strikeouts, but he was obviously not healthy. Goes on the DL for 3 weeks. Starts June with a home start against the Oakland Athletics on June 6th. He fights through. He's not great. Gave up 2 runs in 5 innings, 2 homers, 3 walks, 4 hits in those 5. Did strike out 8, so not bad, not great though. He's still not comfortable, still having problems with the back. So he is basically 5 days later, he finds himself in the Oakland Coliseum to start against the Oakland Athletics. Oakland didn't really have a problem with him the time before. They're kind of feeling like they have a chance to really attack him again. In those 5 days, Jose Canseco goes on the disabled list. He did play in Texas. He gets hurt, goes on the disabled list. The A's decide to sit. Another person that was dealing with injuries was third baseman Carney Lansford, who can put the ball in play. Also, Mark McGwire got the night off. The vaunted slugger. That was his second year. 89 his rookie year, I believe.
87 was his rookie
87
year.
was
Yeah.
the rookie year. My bad. So he is in his prime right now. He sits out the game. And we've got a good one. The Rangers score 2 in the top of the first.
Yeah.
And Nolan takes the mound. And he's out there throwing high 80s, according to the broadcast. He is grunting. He is moving oddly in between pitches. He's doing some type of pelvic rotation stretch between pitches. And he is out there grunting, and he is throwing fastballs. And from the jump, he doesn't look comfortable to me. What did you guys think? Watching this game, by the way, before we get too far ahead, this game you can watch on YouTube. Check out, just look up MLB Vault, Nolan Ryan, 6 no-hitter. They've got a very nice copy of the game that you can watch. Maybe this will be a commentary for the background, but you can watch Nolan's 6 no-hitter in its entirety. What did you guys think, though, about Nolan coming out of the chute?
So that stuck out to me, you're talking about the odd stuff between pitches, is how fast I've already adapted to the pitch count. And just how much time there is between them.
You're talking about the pitch clock.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
pitch
yeah,
clock.
yeah.
I'm sorry, the pitch clock.
Yes.
Yeah. There was no pitch count during
Yes.
this time, obviously.
No.
Obviously.
Not for Nolan.
But yeah, the pitch clock. And between pitches of him walking around the mound, and you could tell trying to get comfortable. But also the batter's getting out every time, readjusting the batting glove
Yes.
and that whole thing.
I think for the no-hitter, game time was still almost 3 hours.
Oh,
and the
really?
Rangers scored. Spoiler alert: the Rangers score 5 runs. They have 3 homers that provide the entire, the entire offense is based around 3 homers. So,
So it still went that long, and
it still went almost 3 hours, and he struck out 14. Did go to full counts a lot.
Yeah.
And side note, he has 14 strikeouts in this game. All of them were swinging. Did y'all see that?
No, wow.
Very interesting
Yeah.
note there. But he's not dealing with the Oakland's best lineup. We've got no Canseco, no McGuire. Henderson is leading off. Dave Henderson is hitting 6th. And to be honest with you, go ahead.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The guy, it's almost like they subbed in Jennings to play first base for McGuire and said, just put him in the 3-hole too.
Well, how about?
I mean, what was that dude doing there?
Ron Hassey hitting like 208 being cleanup, and
Dave
why
Henderson didn't they shift?
Is hitting
Dave
6th.
Henderson up there.
I mean, go talk to
he was
LaRussa.
a monster.
Yeah. Do you think he'd be shining his World Series ring as you're trying to talk to him about this?
LaRussa?
Yeah, LaRussa.
Probably.
Did you see these rings?
And I'm sure Dave Henderson was wondering the same thing on this night. Probably like, what? Who is Jennings? He said.
Yeah. We've got to play him, Tony. Okay. One thing, though, that I really enjoyed from this game was the broadcast, and it's the Oakland commentators. It's the play-by-play for Oakland. And Nolan's coming off the back injury. He did not have a good start in Texas. Was a little rusty. He obviously is not at his peak because they talk about how he's throwing 88, 89 out of the chute. So they're really happy with the Nolan Ryan they're facing. So I wanted to play just a little clip here of the broadcast saying something something that becomes ironic at a certain point.
He's definitely not throwing as hard as he was the last time we saw him. He's in the range right now where he's very hittable.
He's very hittable, you
Very
guys.
hittable tonight.
He's very hittable. This is early in the first inning. He is facing, I believe, Willie Randolph, who will be the last out. So in the bottom of the first, and that was true. That was not that was not a lie. That was not facetious. He was not bagging on a 43-year-old out there.
No.
He was very hittable at the time, and that's kind of what made Nolan special, is that no matter what was going on heading into the game, he could be special on any given night. And that was the thing in the seventh no-hitter. You know, if you look at some of the quotes, like they said in the bullpen before the 7th no-hitter that he was hitting the plate with his warm-ups. They basically came in there and told Valentine that they didn't know if he could go tonight. And he goes out there and throws a no-hitter against Toronto for the 7th. So, like, you just never knew what you were going to get with Nolan Ryan. And that's why he was appointment viewing for the 12, 13-year-old.
No doubt.
You just didn't know what you were going to get.
Yeah, it's just absolutely, one of the most mesmerizing pitchers and careers ever. And the no-hitter thing is such a wild stat because you think about other players that probably had a similar arsenal. Like take a Randy Johnson, for instance. But he never is getting close to, 5, 6, 7 no-hitters or whatever.
Right.
And, just threw just as hard. Also had some wild moments. Also played for teams that didn't provide run support some early in his career. But, I mean, just the fact that he's able to do this 7 times. And you're right, watching this one again, it is he really is masterful, though, just in the way he pitches to everybody. I mean, he's not just out there cranking it up as hard as he can every time. And, I mean, he did have a good point. It didn't look like he had the same stuff. He got better as the game went along.
Yes.
That's for certain. And I do remember, I feel like my dad telling me that as a kid, just like that, he just gets better the deeper the game goes, which is kind of the opposite even back then. And now, I mean, no one's even going 9 innings anyways.
Well, the thing is that he is a 2-pitch pitcher in this game.
Yeah.
He wasn't throwing. He threw the curveball a little bit here and there, but he realized that he was just. He made a comment at the end of the game that by the end of the game he was like at his limit. That he was coming off the 3 weeks, coming off that last start where he didn't pitch well. That he was at his limit, and he was just out there throwing fastballs. Mm-hmm. He was mixing in changes and getting swings and misses on the change. But I remember very distinctly a Sunday night. The Rangers were on Sunday night on ESPN, and they played Toronto, and Joe Carter they were talking about Nolan at 43 or 44 or whatever he was at the time, and Joe Carter's saying the fastball doesn't scare me. It's the curveball that buckles my knees, and it's the circle change that has me lunging. That he was just at a certain point after he left Houston, he became a more complete pitcher because up until the point where he pitched before he signed with the Rangers, he was a 9.4 K per 9 inning guy. He signs up with the Rangers and he's 11.3 K per 9, and he's doing this at 42 and 43. Yeah. Like he became a more complete pitcher at the tail end of his career, which is wild.
How much of that is Tom House?
That's a great question. Great question.
I feel like that
throwing the football on the upper deck card.
Yes.
It's I think you've got to give Tom House credit.
Yeah.
And Nolan credit that he's just not that he wanted to become a different pitcher at that phase in time.
To be coachable at that age and at that point in your career. I don't know how old Tom House was, but I feel like they probably weren't too far away in age. And Nolan already being at this point, he ends in Houston, let's say that he walks away after 87. He's still a Hall of Famer for sure. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. I mean, he's
not according to 6 voters, Scott.
Not according to 6 voters.
Sorry, I just had to mix that in.
Yeah.
I hope they're listening.
Yes.
You guys
I'm
suck.
sure they are. They're probably the ones in Yugoslavia or whatever.
They didn't vote for Belichick either.
But just to be coachable and to be adaptable and to know that, he wanted to basically almost enter this final phase of his career and be as good as he could. It says a lot. And I would be curious to hear what Nolan says on that too, in terms of how much of that's owed to House.
I brought my Nolan Ryan football
nice.
up.
Alan is holding a PSA slab. What is it, a 10?
It's a 10.
Oh, my gosh, of Nolan Ryan throwing the football.
To me, that was a lot of bit of lore as a kid looking at Nolan.
Yes.
Is watching that he throws footballs,
Remember,
and
though,
does
like
cow
if you
drills.
got to the game early and got to see him warming up with the football, you were like, oh, my God, Daddy's throwing the football.
Yeah.
What year Upper Deck was that?
This is a 90.
90. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, 89. This is 89
okay.
Upper Deck. Yeah.
Wow.
Throwing
That's
the football.
awesome.
The first Upper Deck is the football.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
One of the things I can always remember, and I can't remember where we got this, but my mom and dad telling me that Nolan would strengthen his legs by running in waist deep water. Right? So like as a, 12, 13, 14-year-old kid that really didn't pitch, I would go up to the local pool and get into the kiddie pool and just do sprints through the kiddie pool thinking I'm going to get jacked legs and be like Nolan Ryan. This will make me pitch right here.
Did your mom ever like, Scott, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I want to be Nolan, Mom.
Yes, I'm just in the kiddie pool with a bunch of 5-year-olds.
Do you know what else was mythical at that time was that Roger Clemens would jam his arm and hand into big buckets of rice, barrels of rice, and dive it in there.
Oh,
and then pull it
okay,
out
I got
for
you.
the resistance.
Yeah.
And I think they even made a commercial around that. But that was, Nolan's post, like he would go out there and throw 140 pitches and then get on the exercise bike for 45 minutes because of lactic acid as he's sitting there drinking Miller High Lifes.
Yes.
I mean, Charlie Huff was over there blowing darts, and Nolan's over there drinking Miller High Lifes on the...
But I feel like that was the Texas... He was a cowboy, like not a Dallas cowboy, but like a cowboy. He had a ranch. He was tough, He was disciplined. All those things is what made us love him as kids.
Oh yeah, I can't stress enough though. If you had tickets, if your family had tickets to a Nolan Ryan start, you were telling all your friends, and your friends were whispering to each other that Tommy's got Nolan Ryan tickets on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I could go see Nolan Ryan pitch. Like that was that was a thing. That was, and he's in his 40s, and we're all just like, I can't believe that Tommy's going to go get to see Nolan Ryan at that dump Arlington Stadium.
And it didn't register that much then. The 40s thing didn't. I guess I feel like my dad kind of made a deal out of it probably a few times, but I don't think it quite registered with me back then, as far as the fact that he'd already had a career and a half, probably up to this point,
Right.
and then gets to Texas and becomes, just adds to the legend.
Yeah.
Well, even though he's throwing in the upper 80s, guys, he goes, most 3 up, 3 down in the first, gets Henderson, Ricky to pop up to short, strikes out Randolph and Jennings. Rangers got 2 in the first off of Franco Homer. They're going to get a third because John Russell, the catcher, homers in the top of the second. Now, John Russell has an interesting story. Nolan, by all accounts, called the game himself. Mm-hmm. Russell's there just to catch and throw it back. Russell, 6 weeks before being out there on the Oakland Coliseum Diamond, was helping a high school team in Philadelphia.
Yes.
And 6 weeks later, so Alan, if you still have a little catching left in you, you can go out there and maybe catch a Paul Skeens no-hitter or some such.
When you said we're going to watch this and talk about it, first, just turning it on, I found myself smiling the first half hour of just the nostalgia that this whole thing brought and what these men look like during this time.
Yeah.
And I wrote, and this is where I knew anything about John Russell. I wrote, I feel like I look more athletic than John Russell running the bases in my slow pitch softball game than John Russell rounding the bases on his home run. How much the athlete has changed, how much the baseball player has changed.
That's what I wrote next to John Russell in that first at bat was he looks so 80s. And we're basically in the, right after the 80s, but it just did. And you can see glimpses though. Because the flip of that is it's 1990 and you've got Ricky Henderson, who would be a absolute specimen at any point in the history of our world, probably,
Sure.
But you still had and Ken Phelps was the other guy I wrote that next to, and he comes in late in the game, but just good night.
Yeah.
Which again, he was at the tail end, I'm sure, at this point.
I feel like every time I watch one of these games from the late 80s, I think of the old pitcher Eddie Harris off the movie Major League.
Yeah.
There's he takes his shirt off. He's
Charlie Huff,
There's
right?
no muscle.
Yes.
And he's got, all that ointment and all the stuff he rubs on the baseball.
Yes.
But I feel like all those guys look like that. Nobody had any, the body fat percentage was twice as much as it is now. The muscle mass was probably half as much as it was or is now.
Yeah. Could you imagine, though, helping a high school team? I saw a quote that John Russell said that he felt like there was a tunnel between him and Nolan and nobody else, and he wasn't going to say one thing to him. He wasn't going to make any suggestions.
I think you should go with
down the stretch. Yes.
I think you should, because I think Nolan throws 140 or 130 pitches in this game, and 94 of them are fastballs.
Okay.
Russell didn't have anything to do. He's just sticking one down
he
all the time.
He wasn't going to try to tell him
because Nolan by the end gets up to 93, 94, I believe, is what they say on the broadcast. So he does gain, almost 4 or 5 miles an hour in velocity by the end.
That's amazing.
So, I think Russell said basically in the 5th inning, he became aware that it was Nolan was in the zone and had not given up a hit. And he said that's when he felt like Nolan really turned it on. Russell said after the game, it seemed like every pitch he made was perfect. Behind the plate, the pitchers looked unhittable. The intensity in his eyes was unlike anything I had ever seen. That's why I never got nervous. I looked into his eyes.
Gosh.
So Nolan is not having problems at the beginning of the game. He's mowing guys down. He strikes out 3 of the first 4 batters. Nothing leaves the infield through the first 2 innings. Basically, that continues. There is Walter Weiss draws a walk in the bottom of the 3rd after Jamie Quirk hit a solid line drive, but it was straight at Gary Pettis.
Yes.
You're not getting anything past Gary Pettis. You're going to have to hit it in the gap. Gary Pettis is just going to take everything in.
But one of the few hard hit balls all day.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, just right at him though.
Weiss steals second though.
He does.
So we've got a runner on second, still no hits. Mike Gallego, for some reason I always loved Mike Gallego, even though he couldn't do anything with the bat. He's basically the Oakland A's Mike Hewson.
I always thought he
Jeff
was
Hewson.
the old school Jose Altuve in my head is where I always put him.
Okay,
It's-
I could see that.
Like in my head, they were both 4'2".
His
You know
stature
what I
did
mean?
stand out to me in this game.
Yes.
Like, oh, he's a
But
shorter gentleman.
the walk to Weiss, one of two walks, breaks up the perfect game. Gallego grounds out to short, and then Ricky Henderson comes up and strikes out to end the third. The Ricky at-bats are going to be very important, especially as we get towards the tail end. But Ricky really, like when I was watching the game, you know, Ricky's just the threat. He's hitting like 350 at the time. His OBP is way over 400. I mean, he's obviously the engine that drives that World Series championship offense. But it doesn't look comfortable to me. In the first inning, he didn't look comfortable. He doesn't look comfortable in the third. He's up right now on our TV screens. The same at bat I'm talking about. He never looks comfortable. And my favorite thing is when Nolan throws curveballs to Ricky.
Yes.
Because he buckles and
You can see him, like,
raises
double clutch
'cause
almost,
Ricky
yeah.
always had that bent over batting stance and that quick bat through the zone. And every time that ball comes out of his hands high, Ricky recoils.
Yeah.
And I always enjoyed watching Ricky recoil. But basically the game just kind of settles in. The Rangers, in the fourth, he goes 3 up, 3 down. The Rangers get a run in the fifth with Julio Franco. We're not going to really talk too much about the Rangers' offense at this time, but this was a very good offense. They had Rafael Palmeiro. They had Harold Baines with the trade. They had Ruben Sierra. This team that could score runs.
Yeah. What about the nickname the Three Amigos? Did you hear him mention
Yeah.
that? Did you? I never
Yes.
heard that back in the day.
I feel like it was something that they had that really we
So,
didn't fully embrace.
Palmeiro, Franco, Sierra,
Yeah.
they say at this point, they said they're called the Three Amigos
Yeah.
or whatever.
Okay.
And it made me think
Yeah.
of Alan's love for Steve Martin.
Yes, very
Because
much
then I
so.
just thought about, I would love to see Franco, Sierra, and Palmeiro all do the like hip thrusting Three Amigos dance from the movie or whatever. And I wonder if they ever did that for like a Huffines Auto Park commercial or something, you know.
Now, Nolan was, I believe, the same offseason that they traded for Julio. And that was a huge trade because they gave up Pete O'Brien, Oddibe McDowell, and Jerry Brown. Don't forget Jerry Brown, guys.
With an E.
Oddibe McDowell, an Olympian, by the way.
Yeah.
85 tops, look it up. I believe that the Palmeiro trade was in that offseason too. Can anybody recall what Palmeiro was traded for? That is correct. I believe those were all at the winter meetings. I believe the Franco trade, the Palmeiro trade, and the Nolan Ryan signing were all at the winter meetings.
Oh, wow.
That was a Tom Grieve triple play.
Yeah.
Grieve.
The trade for Rafael Palmeiro, and then we'll move back to. I just love this trade because this is an old school baseball trade. Like 11 players. 1, 2, 3. Palmeiro, Jamie Moyer, and Drew Hall go to the Texas Rangers in exchange for Mitch Williams,
Okay.
Wild
Kurt
thing.
Wilkerson, former Ranger
Don't
great.
remember him.
And then there was like 5 prospects in there. I think it was actually a 9-player trade, but Palmeiro was in there, which was kind of weird because Palmeiro was a first-round pick by the Cubs, and by all accounts, obviously was a really good hitter. And somehow we got him for Mitch Williams and Kurt Wilkerson. I would assume that some of these prospects, Paul Kilgus, are you a big Paul Kilgus guy?
No, don't
Scott?
have any of his cards.
Steve Wilson, Luis Benitez, I'm sure, and Pablo Delgado, I'm sure that they were probably well known. Some of those guys were probably top prospects.
I know this is the Nolan game,
Yes.
but I don't feel like we could talk about this without talking about Julio Franco's batting stance and
Yep.
how many times
That we would do it.
you would do it.
Sandlot, yeah.
And in the game, I forgot that how many fingers. He was the
Yeah.
first person
'Cause he
that
broke
I
his hand.
realized I had 2 or 3 fingers off the
Yeah,
bat.
because he broke his hand, right?
Yes.
And that wasn't comfortable to have
With-
the whole hand on the bat.
Yes.
Yeah, but he basically did all that
Yeah.
with 7 fingers. And also, little known fact, was 63 at the time of this game.
Yeah,
right.
I did look it up. I think he was 31, according to.
That was according to his fake birth certificate.
Exactly.
How long did he play?
But what's wild is if he did fake his birth certificate, that means he played until he was like literally into his 50s instead of 48, 49.
Played
Yeah.
in 2007.
Yeah. At age what, does it say?
I believe
it
it
was
says
48.
43.
43.
2007. No, 49. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, he was 49.
Yeah. Because I know if you go look at like all of the oldest 2 offensive records for Major League Baseball, he just owns them. You know, he owns home run, grand slam, double, triple, everything. Maybe not triple. I
He
can't
was
remember.
the All-Star MVP this year in 90. He was
Oh,
the
wow.
All-Star MVP, All-Star Game MVP. Guess who he had double, the 2-run double off of, Scott? Your favorite relief pitcher from your favorite team.
Rob Dibble?
Rob Dibble of the Cincinnati
Yes.
Reds. 101 miles per hour, straight middle, and Franco drove it to the right field center field fence for
Take
double.
that, nasty boys.
Back to the game. Bottom of the 4th, something interesting happens. And then we never quite understand what it is, but there's a ball check. The umpire comes out, and they get a ball check. Remember, the ball comes in from the outfield, and Nolan keeps it in his glove. It's not like it is now, where we throw the ball out every 12 seconds and get a fresh one. Ball
Yeah.
comes in from the outfield in Nolan's glove. The ump walks out there to check the ball, and my favorite thing was watching Bobby Valentine.
yes, he
Yes.
was there so fast.
He was
Yeah.
there so fast. And my thing was, do you think that Bobby Valentine ever said anything to Nolan Ryan other than yes, sir? Bobby, I think I'm going to stay out here. Well,
Yeah,
you know
yes,
what?
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There's a note in this game that as his back was hurting down the stretch, like after the 6th, that Valentine went to the end of the steps
So he didn't
and
have to
stayed down
talk to
there,
him.
so he didn't have to make eye contact with Nolan.
Yeah.
That he didn't want in any way to first, mess with the mojo, but also have any discussion if he was wanting to come out or not.
I was thinking that had Nolan not had a no-hitter going, would he have basically thrown one into somebody's ribs?
For
Like,
that?
just
Because of that?
If it had come from the Oakland dugout.
Yeah.
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 But we never really get the explanation. But I did think that was interesting.
Yeah, and isn't it weird too? Because like they kind of pointed out there that he really doesn't even look at the ball. The umpire
Yeah.
doesn't. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It almost
also
was
had
like
something
either
in
some
his
weird
hand, like a
formality
wooden-
or I
He had
kind of
something in his
wondered.
hand.
And didn't they hint too? Because they said it was the same ball that just got hit.
Yeah, it came from the outfield straight
So,
into Nolan.
like, I guess maybe were they even asking Nolan? Is that ball good? I don't know. It did look very
It
weird.
came from
This-
something because that guy was out there quick.
Yeah, the Valentine running out there though made it look guilty.
Yes,
I
sure.
had flashbacks of like Mike Scott and how that would happen in the mid '80s with the Astros. Like every game, they would say, "Go take the ball
Go
from
take
Mike
it.
Scott. He's cheating or
Right.
whatever." And Nolan was his teammate,
It
so I
just-
mean, he may have learned a thing or two.
He had serious athletic trainer during a timeout having to run out onto the football field
Yeah.
with Gatorade
Yes.
bottles
Oh
energy.
yeah, hustling.
But after knowing Bobby V put on the fake glasses and
Yeah.
nose,
The
that might
mustache.
let us know something that there might have been something going on there.
Quick Bobby V aside. I don't think people who grew up here knew this, but Bobby V had a restaurant
Yes.
that was right next to Arlington Stadium, and it had all. It was dark and dank and old, and our parents hated going there. But anytime we could go to Bobby V's, the kids would get together because they had all this memorabilia on the walls.
Yes.
Did you meet somebody at Bobby V's?
Yes. Charlie Huff.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Charlie
Did
Huff.
you? Was he in the back with the cooks blowing darts?
He probably came from back there. Yes.
Yeah, but he was sitting with his family, right?
The whole family. His
Yeah.
entire family.
And what did you do?
I whipped him and I think we just came from Texas Rangers camp, and so I had
Yeah.
all my cards.
Yeah.
So we realized it was him. Well, so I got out my Trapper Keeper with my sleeves of them,
Right.
went to my Charlie Huffs, and I just happened to have a full page.
Yeah.
So what does any 10-year-old do? Takes the whole thing over there and has him
Yeah.
sign every one of them while he's eating
Yeah.
cheese sticks with
Mr. Huff,
his family. Yes.
if you don't mind asking your children and wife to be quiet for a moment.
Yes.
Could you Did you have like a ballpoint pen?
Yes, and we couldn't hardly get it to work.
Oh,
I
gosh.
just stood there and watched, and he just powered
shredding-
through.
shredding
Was
that,
he smoking?
cardboard.
He was not.
No,
No.
I'm sure you could smoke in Bobby V's though in 19 whatever.
Yeah.
I just remember us like the kids would get together. We'd go to Ranger games or something, or like like the team was going to go, and we would watch the blood drain from the face of our parents when we were like, "Can we please go to Buddy V's?" And they're like, "Oh, all right." Like the food was awful, but they had like some jerseys hung
They had
up.
the jerseys. They had the basketball toss
They
in the
had the
back.
basketball toss,
You know,
like
with the
it
nets
was-
on the side. They
It
had
was
the air hockey,
Such an awful place, but yet
or the ice hockey. Where
yes,
you,
the air hockey.
Yeah.
This
Anyway.
is the first time hearing. I mean, I've heard the Charlie Huff story, but I never went to Bobby V's, not being up here really, but I never would have thought it was like that. I would have thought it was like a really nice restaurant, just like covered with Rangers memorabilia.
It was definitely
like,
covered
you know,
with, they
good
had,
food.
They
I
had
mean,
like
if he's going to
mantle
put his
stuff
name
there.
on it.
That was one thing that I always really enjoyed was they had some mantle stuff.
Oh,
there
wow.
Oh, yeah.
that he had signed, and I mean, I'm sure he got drunk and solicited somebody on a bar
In
stool.
the same in the same case, though, they had what's the center's name for the Rangers? Mavericks. Sam
Sam Perkins.
Yeah.
Perkins. He had like this huge Sam Perkins
Yeah.
shoe in there.
Because
Oh,
that
wow.
was you know, Mavs were going to the Western Conference Finals and losing to Magic at the time.
Yes.
So the Mavs were popular. They
Yeah.
were.
It was almost more of a mythical place, you know.
Well,
to
another
get
thing
to go
in
to.
this was that the Cowboys were awful, and they had been awful for a really long time. And that's around the time that, you know, Jimmy and Jerry show up,
Yeah.
and it's about to be Cowboys country again. But, I mean, we had to – the Cowboys games were blacked out. We had to turn our antenna towards Wichita Falls to watch Cowboys games. That's how bad it was in the 80s. So, like, you know, it was prime for those other two teams that were not the Dallas Cowboys to rob attention, and they did. Like the Rangers, I don't have any memories of the late '80s of those Cowboy teams, but I have a truckload of memories from those Dallas Mavericks and a truckload of memories from this era because they were playing in Oakland when the
There it
Canseco trade went down.
Yeah.
You know, that was a late game. That was a late West Coast game, and at like 10:30, I bound down the stairs, wake my parents up to tell them that we had traded for Jose Canseco, and they were like, we have work in the morning. So anyway, so after the ball check,
Yes.
he strikes out 4 of the next 5 guys. Do you think it lit a fire under him? He strikes out the side in the 5th. He gets through the 6th. He strikes out Walter Weiss. Gallego walks, the second walk of the game. He'll be the last base runner. It is hilarious, though, that out of that lineup, that Nolan Ryan walked Mike Gallego and Walter
Walter.
Weiss. Those two guys. Ricky lines to center. Randolph flies out to right, which he'll do again later. And through 6, Scott. And here's the thing. I'll even go the top half of the 7th. We're going to hit the 7th inning stretch. Through 6.5, it's 5-0 Rangers. And this 7th inning stretch is brought to you by our sponsor, Scott, Sterling Soap.
The great Sterling Soap
The
Company.
great Sterling Soap.
Yes. So we want to thank Sterling Soap for supporting everyone on the Sports History Network. You can learn more about all of the fine products they have to offer at sterlingsoap.com. Alan, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Okay. Do you use shave soap? You're a clean-shaved guy.
Yes.
What do you use there?
Yes. Shave soap.
yeah,
like
they
just
got
soap.
shave soaps there at Sterling
Oh,
Soap.
man.
They've got
Pre-shave
aftershave
soaps.
splashes.
Okay.
They've got, obviously, being named Sterling Soap, they have various soaps. You had asked earlier if it was men's soap.
Yes.
And we've decided it looks more like it's unisex soap. Wouldn't you say, Derek?
I think so.
Is there a website that I could go visit?
Yes.
and see?
sterlingsoap.com. So
Okay.
free
Sterling-
shipping on all orders over $75. They run specials pretty regularly where you got opportunity to save some more. But just an awesome
Also, if you like a straight edge
Products.
I love a straight edge shave, Scott. They've got shaving bowls, mugs. They've got the straight edge. They got the safety razors. They got everything.
Straight edge shaving is such a Nolan Ryan thing.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Right?
It is. Like, I'm not doing that. Do you do that?
Do I do straight edge?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you?
absolutely.
No.
No, I just feel like
I
I
love
can
going and
remember
getting
watching
one,
my
too.
dad do that
Yeah.
and just thinking. And then I can also remember getting in there and playing around, like cutting my hand on the
Yeah.
razor or whatever. And that was like, don't let Scott in
Well,
there anymore.
guess what, Scott? You don't have to worry about cutting your hand because Sterling Soap has safety razors.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Sterling Soap with an I, Stir, STIRLING, soap.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the 7th. I mean, that's the end of the top of the 7th. And we're getting to the good stuff now. Because the last 3 innings, Nolan, they're really showing him in the dugout, doing some very strange stretches. His rear end and his underneath carriage always seems to be on camera.
Yeah.
No,
I remember
there's
watching
no
that.
director going, hey, can we get a different angle on this guy? Because it's him, his butt, and his hamstrings and his calves, and he's stretching just straight to the camera.
And Bobby V's way at the other end because
Bobby
he-
V's
he
at the
does
other
it-
end. He's calling Bobby V's restaurant to see what the tally was for that night. If Mantle has fallen off his stool. No problems in the 7th. He faces the very scary heart of the lineup, Scott. Jennings flies out to right. Hassey strikes out. And Felix Jose strikes out. I really liked Felix Jose growing
me
up.
Question.
too.
Quick
What,
aside.
you do like?
I love Felix Jose.
Is that the most famous Latino 2 first name Major League Baseball
Oh.
player?
Oh man, dude.
Felix
was-
Jose?
This should take.
Feels like a bear trap.
It does. It really does.
Well, who's the most famous non-Latino 2 first name player? Hank Aaron?
So, the A's, 3 up and 3 down in the bottom of the 7th. We go to the 8th. Things are going to start happening here in the 8th. Dave Henderson strikes out. And guess who comes up to pinch hit, Scott?
Carney.
Carney Lansford. Carney Lansford, if you go look at his career lines, I don't know why we were scared of Carney Lansford. I was always terrified of Carney Lansford, mainly because he usually hit second in that lineup.
Yes.
He
yeah.
was wedged between Ricky and Jose and Mark.
But didn't they say that he was second in hits in the American League the year before?
Yes. He could put the ball in play. And he comes up. Here's the thing, too, is that he's at the tail end of his career. He retires after 92. In 1990, he never – the crazy thing is that he actually had a little pop until about 87, and then he just became like a poor man's Wade Boggs. Had 185 hits in 89, led the league in that category. Is definitely at the tail end. He pretty much misses all of 91. But he comes up and strikes out on 3 pitches. And to be honest with you, like I could see him walk into the dugout and reach for his game check, and then just like that was good, like thumb up, good.
Yeah.
Is that good? He had no inclination of trying to put the ball in play. He just went up there, swung at 3 wild pitches.
He didn't look healthy.
No,
like
he
they were
wasn't.
trying to get
And he
him back,
wasn't.
you
Yeah,
know.
he
and,
wasn't.
And
And
look-
trying to get something going too.
something going, and yeah, it just looked tough.
So Lansford strikes out. Who's up next? Walter Weiss. But he pops out in foul territory to Steve Buechele.
Yes.
Now, what's great about this is that when we hit that 7th inning stretch, the Oakland faithful have become Nolan Ryan fans. And they show some of the crowd. There was a guy. Did y'all notice that there was a guy in a suit? Like
No.
he must have just come straight from the office to go watch Nolan Ryan pitch.
Yeah.
And he is fist pumping like nobody's
Yes,
business
yeah.
with each strikeout
Yes.
and each out. And the crowd has turned into our team is 27 games above 500, whatever they were at the time. We're World Series champs. Tonight, we're going to cheer Carney Lansford strikeout. Tomorrow we will cheer
Yes.
for Carney Lansford's base hits. But tonight we want to see history.
Yes.
Because another big thing here is that Nolan's last no-hitter was 1981. He had 4 really quick on top of each other.
The 70s.
From 73 to 75, I believe he had 4. And then goes 6 years, has 1 in 81. And he holds the record for the longest stretch between no-hitters. goes from 81 to 90. But at this point, Nolan it's been a desert. 9 years, no hitter. So everybody wants to see number 6. He's got the record, number 5. So any additional no hitter, he's been very close several times. In fact, he owns tied for the second most number of one hitters with Bob Feller, I believe. Which, side note, do y'all remember the anecdote about Bob Feller?
Yes, and because I've heard that several other places too, like really what a pain in the ass he is, and how sour he is.
So in the broadcast, they tell this story about Bob Feller not liking Nolan because the California Angels had some type of promotion for a Nolan Ryan start, and they were going to see if he could break Bob Feller's speed record, fastball record, which was 98.6. And I think Nolan threw it 101, 101,
yeah,
100.8.
100.9.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Bob Feller, according to Nolan, took offense to that and really was surly with him the rest of the way. But further, Bob Feller aside, there was a national card show in Arlington in like 1986. And at that card show was Ernie Banks, Willie Mays, and Bob Feller. And you could get each one of their autographs for $8 a piece.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
I looked at Ernie Banks, and I said, Joe Nathan, no thank you. I looked at Bob Feller, and I said, Bob Feller, Joe Nathan, no thank you. And I got Willie Mays' autograph on a Kmart. Kmart had come out with a set. Have I shown you this card before, Scott?
No.
Kmart had come out with a set. It was glossy.
Yeah, I remember
And it
those.
was like the top 30 all-time baseball players. And for whatever reason, I had prepared. My buddy Ryan got all those guys on a baseball. Like all 3 of those guys on a baseball. I guess it's still somewhere. But somewhere out there, those 3 Hall of Famers for $24 signed this baseball.
That's crazy.
Awesome.
And I had him sign my Kmart card, which is just a very generic Willie Mays stance with a Sharpie. And I still have it to the day. And in fact, it's my favorite card of all time.
Yeah.
But Bob Feller was there for $8. And I'm sure if you'd asked him about Nolan Ryan,
how'd he look?
He would have dog cussed
Do you
him.
remember?
He looked like he was close to death, Scott.
Yeah. I just remember there's another really good podcast out there that has just, it's like when someone gets inducted in the Hall of Fame owns the podcast and they come on there. And I can't remember who it was, but them telling the story of Feller like really being sour towards them at some benefit that they were at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that he really disliked the generations that followed his because of the money they earned, which, I mean, I don't know about getting sour over it, but it was taking leaps. And, Nolan, I believe, was the first $1 million pitcher.
Yes.
I think he was the
I think
first
they got
$1 million
$1 million
pitcher.
a year, didn't he?
And then also the fact that I believe Feller did fight in the war. I think he lost a little bit of his career to the war, and I think he was always a little bitter on any of his stats being buried because like of that,
right.
Or whatever, that he could have had 2 or 3 more seasons, But yeah, I've heard a few stories, so it didn't strike me as that odd. I did not catch that obviously in 1990 watching this game, but now it's kind of like, well, maybe he was just surly towards everybody.
That whole crew, I mean, Nolan just, I don't know. I don't know how you could be upset at Nolan Ryan.
No.
It didn't make any sense to me when they were telling me that anecdote. But I feel like that was a peripheral thing. Like that was more, he was pissed off at the California Angels.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we get to the 9th, Scott, and your guy pinch hits for my guy. Ken Phelps pinch hits for Mike Gallego.
Yes.
Now, who was more? I'm sorry, let me back up. Who was less interested in their at bat, Ken Phelps or Carney Lansford?
I'm going to say Carney, but I don't think either one of them wanted any part of it.
Phelps did fight a couple of pitches off, or at least one pitch off.
Yeah.
Phelps strikes out, and then this is it, really, that everybody was looking at because of the 2 walks. Ricky Henderson strides to the plate and puts together an at bat that really wasn't. I mean, was as poor as the other 2 at bats. But he check swings and hits a number to short, and it's dangerous.
Yes.
Because it's Ricky. But Allen's hero.
Yes.
Left-handed hitting, right-handed throwing, shortstop, Jeff Houston.
Yes.
Charges the ball and makes a heck of a play. In fact, the best play of the night. Saves the no-hitter.
No doubt.
I told you guys I wanted to be Nolan first, Troy Aikman second, but third was Jeff Houston.
Yeah.
That's who I mimicked in the backyard when we played. And when I was rewatching this, I guess I'd forgotten or didn't know that he made that play. And I felt 8-year-old Allen excited to see him charge that ball and make that play like that. It wasn't a given.
He made it look routine.
Yes, he
like
did.
if you were just a generic sports watcher that night that tuned in to watch Nolan,
yes,
like you're like, oh.
I don't know why. I think it's because he's a shortstop. Everybody loved the shortstop.
Yep.
But, going into this game, he had 9 RBIs on the year, no home runs, a very close stance.
Let's all guess Jeff Houston's total number of homers in his career.
Oh,
I'm going to go over under 14 and a half.
I'll go over.
I'll go under.
I was going to guess 19.
Okay, Scott, do you want to go?
19. I'll go over.
Okay, over.
I'll say 12.
It was 8.
8.
Guys,
Yes.
he played in 827 games, had 1,879 ABs, and 8 homers.
But
Just not his thing.
no,
Not his thing.
but charging the ball and making plays, that was huge.
And the commentator adds to the thrill of it because he says something as the play is happening, like he better get it there quick or something like that. And he did. And that's the thing I thought too, is just like in rewinding it, watching that one again was like, man, he made it look easy.
Yes.
And I mean, he got Ricky by a good 5 feet, I would say, but I just thought, man, he just made that look too easy. He kind of took the thrilling
you know why
moment
he
out
made it
of
easy? He was 6'3".
Oh, really?
He was a 6'3" shortstop.
Wow.
He
I didn't
played
know
12
that.
years, guys. His career stats, 234, 8 homers, 150 RBIs over 827 games.
He's snubbed from
An
the Hall.
OPS of 599. He's lucky that analytics didn't exist
Yes.
in the late 80s.
And a few pitches before that, going back to all the massive foul territory, Rafi almost gets to one. That Henderson
Yes.
pops up
But-
over on the first base side. And I mean, he gets within a good 4 or 5 feet of it.
Did you hear, though, that Rafi had kind of bungled a no-hitter.
Yes.
One of the one-hitters
Yeah.
was to Chicago. Ron Kittle hit a little
great Ron Kittle.
little pop-up, and Rafi couldn't get to it, and it fell in for a hit.
Oh, wow.
So what was interesting to me, too, was how badly in the ninth any foul ball those guys were running after.
Yes.
Like Rafi and Ruben are full tilt boogies
Yes,
they
to
are.
that baseball
Yeah.
to try to get it. Like they all want this for Nolan. The bench, they keep showing the bench. Toby Harris like walking with his hands in his back pockets, and then he rips them out for the strikeout, and is like all guns. Like everybody wanted this for Nolan, and after they get the out to Ricky, which everybody was pumped up for.
Yes.
Willie Randolph strides to the plate, and who comes into the on deck circle?
Oh,
Yeah, I made
That was the moment to me. Because I was
Yes.
like, in fact, I almost was like, gosh, give me some revisionist history here and just walk Ricky. And let's have this moment against
Yeah.
Big Mac right now with, Ricky on first, which really doesn't matter down 5-0. But at the same time, it was just like,
Okay.
he just looked like a monster
man.
Yes.
already.
Why did he wait to
I would
like,
have.
why didn't he pitch hit before?
So Mark McGuire strides into the on deck circle. Willie Randolph is hitting. McGuire's going to hit. I assume they just wanted to give McGuire the night, like the full night.
Yes,
off.
yeah.
It's 5-0 too. Like
Yeah.
had they gotten a couple runners on, had they strung together some base hits, McGuire would have come in. But I mean, they're hapless at this point. I don't know if they were just like, hey, it's cool if we just let Nolan have this no hitter tonight.
Yeah.
Because there was, how about for a midweek game, there's 33,500 people
in
in the
Oakland.
stands.
Yeah.
When I went to the Oakland Coliseum, it was a midsummer game against Boston, and I swear to God, there was less than 2,000 people
Oh,
there.
wow.
Yeah.
I feel like when we went, they said something about 8. There's like
Yeah.
8,000.
It was also interesting because there were more ushers to protect where you were supposed to sit than there were people. I was like, how can they spend all this? Like they could just use this on promotions and had people come to the game. But the point was we want to move to Vegas.
Yes.
But anyway, so McGuire strides in. Willie Randolph, no slouch in the box. Doesn't look great at the plate. Nolan is just throwing fastballs at this point. He's really not mixing anything in. He's still doing his weird bends on the rubber. And a ball is hit, a lazy fly ball is hit to right field.
Yes.
Ruben not really having to bust his tail to get to it. Pretty casual. Very iconic, like, moments in time. He catches the ball. Sierra kind of throws his fist up. They immediately go to Ryan. Ryan puts his hand out to shake Russell's hand,
Yes.
but Russell is coming like a linebacker.
Yes, yeah.
And of all the dugout empties, of course, Nolan's got this huge grin, laugh
Yes.
on his face. Russell just, body blows him, and it's just like the whole thing just swarms. But what's really interesting is they pull back out, and there is 4 or 5 fans have come out of the
Yes, they got
stands,
down there, right?
and they are celebrating with the Rangers.
Yes.
And it made me think of like Hank Aaron's homer
Oh,
that
gosh. Yeah.
that clipped Babe Ruth,
Yeah.
and how those guys ran out there and were slapping him on the back, and how
Frightening.
I know, because he was getting death threats
Yes,
at the time.
yeah.
But like how those guys just like, came out of the stands and they're jumping with the Rangers.
Yes.
It's kind of that, like the scene in Major League when all the people are coming out of the
Yes.
stands and cheering with Tom Berenger.
He's being mobbed by his teammates, and the thing I kind of got a glimpse of when I was watching is I feel like I could see Nolan go, okay,
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, guys, let's
Yeah.
just chill out.
I think he
or
wants
whatever.
that, but then they hoist him
Yes.
on their shoulders.
And man, that's great.
Yeah.
And that was iconic. That was an iconic moment in my
No doubt.
childhood,
No
sports
doubt.
childhood.
Yes. You could tell though, like in that Franco really like grabs him and hugs
Yeah.
him. Steve Buechele does. Like they are so happy for him in that moment. It's just awesome.
Yeah. It's a great ending. And in the, Randolph, too, he did not look comfortable in that at bat. And I wonder how much of that, just the moment, you know what I mean? That you're the last straw kind of or whatever. I don't even think they're worried about trying to get a win at that point necessarily. It's just I don't want to be the last out. But he the 2 at bats previous to this, he had one where he really hit a line drive. Another one that, had it not gone right at I believe it was not even at him. I think in Cavilla kind of had to give it a run to get to it. But he hit the ball really well. I mean, to end it with Ricky and Randolph, who were clearly kind of the 2 best baseball players playing that night, I would say, in terms of for Oakland.
For sure.
I mean, that was really impressive.
So there was one other thing, game aside. I don't know if you boys did this, but the day after something big happened, I would have my mom take me to the grocery store, and I would sidle up to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram newsstand, and I would take quarters, and I would pump quarters in, and I would pull out the same number of newspapers.
Sure.
So for the 5,000 strikeout, I got like 5 of those. And then,
And are you telling us you put 5 quarters in, or you did the deal? You put 1 quarter,
no,
but you pull 5 papers.
I was terrified that there was going to be a cop come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because I was 11, Scott.
You hadn't grown as ballsy as you did at
Yeah.
Blockbuster
Yeah.
20 years later
Yeah,
or 10 years
no.
later or whatever.
I was happy to steal 20-ounce Dr. Peppers all day at Blockbuster. So I did that for the 5,000th strikeout. Now, it was too late for the 6th no-hitter, but 6 weeks later, he would win his 300th game in Milwaukee. And the next day, there was 300 in big, bold, font type. And I remember getting 4 or 5 of those. And I had them in a box underneath my bed with the first Beckett's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the Jordan basketball and the Bow football, those were all kind of mixed in the same box. And I remember at a certain point when I was in college thinking that I would never, and I think I threw them away. Like I don't know where they're at. I think I tossed them.
Yeah, that stinks. I have a similar. I did the same thing with papers. We would get the local paper in Bryan, which was the Eagle, and then we would get the Houston paper. I believe it was the Chronicle, Houston Chronicle. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
And I would do the same thing. I would always keep the front of the sports page whenever something big happened. And even if it was something like even just mid, I would still keep it. And I just had boxes and boxes. The other thing I kept every one of, And I really kick myself now as Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
I think I had like 15 years of Sports Illustrated in large boxes at one point that finally just got tossed.
I've got them in a Tupperware. I've got all the Jordans from
wow.
when I subscribed. But to put a bow on this, 6 weeks later, he got his 300th career win. The following year in May, at the age of 44, he got his 7th no-hitter, which we talked about, and that was from the broadcast that I played at the beginning. That was from NBC5. That was they basically stuck with the game. If you want 4 minutes of just gold, go check in Nolan Ryan, NBC5. It's basically the two broadcasters, like you heard, doing play-by-play for 4 minutes, and Jane McGarry acting as if they stuck a microphone in front of your mother's mouth and said, "Hey, can you call this Little League game?"
Yes.
And just like hyperbole, and he loves throwing strikes. He loves Texas, and he loves throwing strikes.
Yes.
And it's absolute fantastic gold. But Nolan retires at the end of the 93 season. He tears his UCL basically at the end of that year. Finishes with...
Which that was the end of the old Arlington Stadium,
yes,
too, right?
Yeah.
So he I guess I didn't realize that he was never there for the new ballpark.
I think if he'd have been healthy, I think he would have, by all accounts, he would have kept playing.
Yeah.
That he would have come back for year 47. But has his jersey retired by the Angels, Astros, and Rangers. Goes into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 99 with 98.79% of the vote. I think there were 7 or 8 holdouts, maybe 6. One of 3 Rangers with a Texas Ranger hat. Can you name the other 2?
Adrian Beltre.
1.
Yeah.
And
Pudge. Yep.
Yeah.
Those 3, I believe, are the only 3 that are wearing Texas Ranger hats on their plaque in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. So anyway, that's going to wrap up Nolan Ryan's 6th no-hitter. I stumbled upon it on YouTube, and I was like, I would like to hang with my buddies and talk about this for an hour.
It's a great time capsule. I mean, not just taking Nolan and the phenomenon of this
Mike
moment.
Gallego buckle at that curveball.
Yeah, he did. But just even like watching the people in the stands and listening to the way they go about announcing the game, and then like we talked about earlier, how all of the players look like they're in their 60s for some reason now, and even the ones that, I mean, obviously Nolan is up there for a Major League Baseball player at this point. But I asked, so I texted you a couple days ago, Alan, asked because you just had a birthday recently. You just turned 44. Okay. So Nolan, look at him on screen. He's 1 year younger than you are right now. You still look like you could just be his kid, Alan, is my point.
I appreciate that, yes.
And maybe Charlie Huff's grandson. I did look for Charlie Huff a lot here, and we never get to see him that I could find. I really watched the everyone running out to Nolan there in the end because he was on this team.
Yeah, I feel like I saw him one time.
Did you really?
54.
Okay.
Yes.
On the bench?
Maybe during the celebration.
Okay. All right.
I don't really remember.
Yeah.
So, the nostalgia part of it, of just watching this, baseball leggings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you guys put on baseball leggings?
Oh, yeah.
And the stirrups underneath their shoes, and then put the shoes on.
And to me, you had to wear the real deal. You couldn't have the socks with the one stripe.
No, it's a real one.
That was a real cop-out in my book.
I feel like in 1988, that's what the league gave us, was the striped
socks.
socks.
No.
And I can remember wanting my mom to go to... Gosh, I wish I could remember what the sporting goods place, because it was kind of a big deal in College Station, but it wasn't Academy or anything quite that big. And to get me just the stirrups, that I wanted the stirrups.
Yes.
And
The evolution, too, because they went from just the stirrups to stitching the stirrups in and then abandoning the stirrups and just putting a massive stripe
just printing it on there,
cut off before it hit the end of the shoe. But,
exactly.
Nolan was the Sporting News Sportsman of the Year in 1990 based upon the no-hitter and the 300th win, which was a big deal for 1990.
Yeah.
There was a a band director that gave me Sporting News, Alan. And big, huge stacks of them, and I loved him for that.
I wonder what happened to that band.
So moving on.
Who else would have been in the running in 1990? I wonder.
Bo Jackson?
Yeah?
Maybe.
Maybe.
We probably could find that out. But anyway, so that's going to put like I said, put a bow on Nolan Ryan's 6th no-hitter. Alan, thank you so much for taking time out. It's a busy time for you, I know.
I'm glad you did.
And,
I had a lot of fun watching.
I mean,
I
when
feel
you think about how this game ended, how could we not? We personally know the president of the Jeff Houston fan club.
Sure.
How would you not invite him to be part of the podcast?
Just for that moment of watching Jeff Houston charge the ball.
Yeah.
And, man, it was
I'm going to see if
great.
Jeff Houston's on Cameo and get Alan that for his next birthday.
That'd be great.
I feel like, though, one of the reasons I wanted Alan on is that when we're 7 margaritas deep hanging out, that's when we start talking about Jeff Houston, Julio Franco, and the 1990 Texas Rangers. So
Yeah.
I wanted to have a sober podcast with that same deal. But anyway, Scott.
Yeah, episode 3, there it is in the books. We want to thank Sterling Soap once again for sponsoring us and everybody on the Sports History Network. You can learn more about the network at sportshistorynetwork.com. Go there, check out some of the other great podcasts that they have on the network. There's some really good stuff. If you're a history buff, sports history buff for that matter, then there are quite a few options for you to go check out there. Some really good stuff. Good team. But we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We will be back. I have no idea what the next episode's going to be, so that's going to be just the fun of this one.
Well,
you'll have to tune in to see
let me tell you
or
something.
download or whatever
I love
you do.
Texas, and I love throwing strikes. We'll
No
see
doubt.
you next time.
We'll see you. Thanks.